Hi everybody, my name is Valerie and I'm here at Baltimore's waterfront with the one and only Mr. Trashville. Mr. Trashville lives right here where the Jones Falls meets the Inner Harbor. He was invented in Baltimore to solve one particular problem, cleaning up the trash that ends up in our harbor. To solve this problem, first we had to ask, where does trash in the harbor come from? It makes sense that trash around the harbor could get blown into the water by wind or swept over the edge by rain. But also, trash in the harbor can come from miles away. You see, Mr. Trashville sits at the end of the Jones Falls River. The river starts all the way up in Owings Mills before flowing through the middle of the city, where it goes underground for a few miles and then surfaces again close to the waterfront. This area is the Jones Falls watershed, which means the area of land where any rainwater drains into the Jones Falls River. When it rains, any litter in this watershed will wash down a storm drain into a stormwater pipe, and that pipe will empty into the Jones Falls. Stormwater is not cleaned or filtered, so before Mr. Trashville was created, the rain would carry trash, mostly plastic, down into the harbor, where it could float further out into the Chesapeake Bay, and eventually into the Atlantic Ocean. All that plastic is bad for wildlife because animals eat it, mistaking it for food, or get tangled in it and can't get out. Cities around the world face similar problems with plastic pollution, but it was here in Baltimore that an engineer named John Kellett decided to build a machine that could help solve the problem. His idea was to build a floating trash interceptor that would remove all the plastic coming down the river before it got into the open water of the harbor. The trash interceptor went through a couple of designs, each improving on the last, until we arrived at the Mr. Trashville we know and love today. Mr. Trashville is the world's first sustainably powered trash interceptor. When trash comes floating down the river, the booms funnel it into his mouth, where the rakes take it onto the conveyor belt, and then the trash drops into his dumpster. Mr. Trashville doesn't use gas for power because burning fossil fuels contributes to air pollution and climate change. Instead, he uses energy from the water wheel on the side and the solar panels on his back. That's what powers the rakes in the conveyor belt. And when the dumpster is full, it gets hauled away and replaced with an empty one. Since Mr. Trashville catches anything that floats, he gets a lot of woody debris, but also he's managed to remove a lot of plastic out of the water. Since he was installed in 2014, Mr. Trashville has removed over 700,000 plastic bags, over 1 million styrofoam containers, and over 1 million water bottles. Sometimes other weird things come floating down the river too, like a mattress, a guitar, and his now famous best friend, the ball python. But Mr. Trashville isn't just good for cleaning up garbage. He's inspiring people all around the world. His big googly eyes and his sense of humor on social media have won over thousands of amazing fans, raising awareness about the problem of plastic pollution and inspiring people to clean their waterways. In fact, Mr. Trashville and other local organizations helped to support a group of students called Baltimore Beyond Plastics. These students met with our city council members and persuaded them to pass the city's styrofoam ban, its first plastic ban, in 2018. Thanks to Mr. Trashville's fans, we've been able to keep growing the Trashville family. Now, there's Professor Trashville in Canton, Captain Trashville at Masonville Cove, and a whole new Trashville coming to the end of the Glens Falls River, which flows into the Middle Branch. While Mr. Trashville has been hard at work, we can't rely on him forever. Solving the problem of plastic pollution will involve taking action to generate less waste, keep litter off the street, promote sustainable business practices, and urge governments to protect the environment for us and future generations. No matter where you live in Baltimore, your neighborhood and your schoolyard are connected to the Baltimore Harbor and the Chesapeake Bay. How can you and your community help the Trashvilles clean the Chesapeake Bay?